What I'm about to say isn't new. It's not like it hasn't been said by anybody else. I just need to say it myself in my own way. I tried being nice, I tried staying out of it, but then there was this one fucking comment that just got to me on the last video. I know it's stupid of me to even hope and pray for decent behavior, but like, what is this comment? You are comparing using illegal substances so you don't end your life to not using a tool that the video game gives you to help you beat it. Who raised you, bro? Seriously, let me speak to them, because the product that came out is not functional. We need to send that shit back right now. Like I said, I'm done being nice. I'm gonna be 100% honest right now, and I'm going to address all of the main complaints that I've been seeing about Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree. Let's start off with the first few fair complaints, right? Because there are fair complaints. This DLC isn't perfect, and there are reasons to criticize it. Number 1. Performance issues. I said this in my last video, but personally I haven't experienced anything game-breaking or nothing that really ruined my experience, but I know for a fact that there are people out there who aren't as lucky. I don't know if it's an optimization issue, because if a game isn't running smoothly on console, then there's always a reason for you to be worried, right? Because PC is always going to be a gray area. There's way too many variables that go into it, so I never expect PC to reach a point in life where everyone's rigs is running everything smoothly. But yes, the performance issues are a real problem, and yes, this does warrant a negative review with details so that the developers can look at them and go, well, fuck me, I guess these are the specs that are having issues, or it just seems like all of them are having issues, let's work on it. Because a review like this doesn't help the devs, help you. As we say in Brazil, the sleeping shrimp is taken by the wave, meaning if you do jack shit to help yourself, then nothing is going to save you. The second fair complaint that I see are hitboxes. Listen, this has been a debate as long as the fucking game has existed. I'm not talking about just Elden Ring here, I'm talking about the Soul series. A lot of people complained about Commander Gaius or whatever his name is. I beat him second try, maybe I just got lucky, who knows? Maybe my build was just better suited, but for example, I really struggled with Rilana. Bro, I died to that boss so many times, I'm not even sure if it was over 30 or 40 attempts. Also, in the Dancing Lion, like, he's so tall and his hitbox will sometimes fuck up your camera if you're close to the corner. So yes, there's genuine problems with hitboxes and camera angles every now and then, but in my experience this doesn't really happen all that often, so it's not really a game changer. It's valid though, so that is something to criticize the DLC for. And one final valid complaint is that there are people who gatekeep the fuck out of how you play the game. Who here doesn't know that when people use summons, the first thing that's gonna happen is some tryhard is gonna tell them that they're bad? Let me tell you, this isn't the majority of the community, okay? It's a very loud and very small segment of the community that just relies on trolling. Is the rest of the community happy with this? Not really, we're not proud of that, but hey, every batch of apples will have its bad apples, right? Whether you're using 15 summons, a sorcerer build while everyone else is tanking for you, or you're summoning your friends, I don't care. As long as you're having fun and you're helping support this game, I love you for it, dude. Hell, the only way I got through most of the base game in my first run was with a Mimic tier. If that's your stepping stone so you can eventually solo all the bosses like I do, then go for it. Or if that's just simply how you want to play the game, then who cares? It's your game. It's in there for a reason. It's a tool for you to use. Just don't listen to the idiots telling you otherwise, okay? We got you. But that's about where the fair complaints have ended, and now I'm gonna get mean, but just before doing so, I want to read something out to you. This statement is from Miyazaki himself, and I'm not gonna read the full thing, but it is something along the lines of, if we wanted to make this game for everybody, we would dial back the difficulty, but we know that our players are here to enjoy that triumph over the struggle. That's why they keep coming back, that's why we provide the experience we do, and making the game easier would essentially just break it and rob most of our players from their enjoyment. Keep the words from Miyazaki himself in your mind as I'm going through the rest of this, because I'm gonna go in. The first thing that I want to talk about is that these reviews about the game being too hard aren't coming from someone who just hopped on the game and didn't really play it. You need to be playing this for dozens of hours to reach Mo and beat him and then move on to the DLC. And I doubt that anybody ever has just gone, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna buy Elden Ring to the bare minimum and go straight to the DLC. Like, come on, let's be real. Everybody either played it at 100% capacity to their liking, or they just dropped it because they said Souls games aren't for me. But there's some of you guys who beat Malenia, who beat Malekith, who beat the Godskin Duo without summons, who beat the whole game, and all of a sudden you're surprised that the Shadow of the Erdtree is harder than the base game. What were you expecting? Did you think that the DLC was gonna be the same as your endgame build, wrecking the rest of the base game? Why would you want that? Why would you want a DLC that's $40 fucking to be a breeze that you can just get done in a day? Like, did you do any research at all into what a Souls DLC is like? If you didn't, it's on you. Also, every single Souls DLC dials up the difficulty tenfold. Dark Souls 1 had Manus, Dark Souls 2 had Fume Knight, Dark Souls 3 had Midir, Bloodborne had the Orphan of Cause, and that's just a few of the bosses that stretch Uranus to the size of a bucket. And then all of a sudden, you guys are surprised that the bosses in the Shadow of the Erdtree are just as hard as them. Like, what? You just didn't do any research. That's on you. Also, I've seen some people say, I've played all the DLC and they were never this bad. Brother, are you fucking kidding me? You know what happened before when you got stuck on a boss? It was a much more linear experience. If you got stuck, you had two options. Number one, go farm for a load of souls and just currency in general so that you can either level up a bunch or buy more buff items, or you got good. You put your goddamn ego aside, you go in that boss fight, take the beating, but every single swing that the boss does goes into your brain whether you like it or not. And then after struggling and getting stuck on this boss because you had to farm, or you had to die a bunch of times because you had to learn the moveset, you would eventually triumph because you became better. In Shadow of the Erdtree, if you don't want to fight this boss, you can go into an entirely different area that will reward you with weapons, with armor, with spells, with buffing items, with DLC exclusive items that buff your fucking resistances. You can summon NPCs. You can use a Mimictor for fuck's sake. What else do you guys want? Oh, but when I walk into the arena, I'm already getting two-shot. Do you not know what the dodge button is? How did you get to the DLC? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, are you complaining the fact that the boss is hitting you now? There are so many ways to avoid getting stuck on a boss and other things to do instead of bashing your head against the wall 50 times. And I still see people saying shit like, well, that's not how I want it to be. I want to solo every boss. Motherfucker, if you don't got the skill to solo this boss, either go get more Shadow Tree fragments and come back with bigger stats, or get good. Just stop bitching and hold yourself accountable, dude. Like, so many of these negative reviews on Steam are so keen to say something along the lines of bad boss design. I walk into the arena and I instantly get two-shot. But you don't even hold yourself accountable. You're not even thinking to yourself, maybe it's my stats. Maybe I have the wrong armor for this. Maybe I should even go and respec. There are plenty of free items. I don't even have to do anything. I don't have to kill bosses to get these items anyway. But some of you guys are acting like someone is holding your family at gunpoint, saying if you don't solo every single boss in the DLC without a single Shadow Tree fragment, I will kill your family. It's not the DLC's fault that you set yourself a challenge. The game gives you a free item that doesn't require fighting most of the time, so that your resistances can go up to like 90% and you guys are still whinging. You wouldn't have lasted a day in any of the older DLCs where you had no option but to either level up or beat the bosses you are. I'm far from being good at this game. I'm practically average, and I managed to beat the bosses with just a little bit of adjustment. Why is it that nowadays people think that it's more common to ask the developer to nerf the game rather than looking into yourself and saying, shit, maybe I need to improve. Maybe I need to take a break and come back when I'm not as angry. Maybe, just maybe, it's my fault. If you are having performance issues on consoles or gaming PCs that are within the recommended settings, by all means, leave that negative review. Tell them what's up. Tell them that this isn't necessarily working. If you're someone who really is just incredibly angry at one boss's hitbox and to the point where that overrules all of the enjoyment over the entire game, I don't really agree with it, but by all means, leave that negative review. But if you're someone who's saying that the game is too hard while actively refusing to engage with all of the systems that the game gives you to enable these fights being easier, then you're a fucking idiot with no self-accountability. You do not want to improve. You think that just because you put money towards a game, the whole game and the whole community and the devs need to pander to you because you're a crybaby. You are not willing to work for jack shit in your life. If everyone thought the way you did, there would be no good games left. It's the equivalent of me who doesn't like strategy games going, I'm gonna buy Baldur's Gate 3 because I love fantasy games, but man, this combat sure is boring. Oh, what a bad game. Let me leave a review on it. This is the equivalent of what you're doing, so it's either time to get good or to shut up. Because if I catch you saying the exact same shit in the next From Software Souls-like that you buy, then I'm sending you a red nose and a pair of clown shoes. Because if you want to play the part, then I'll make you look the part.